I'm a amputee girl with bionic arm and bow from front page Ask Me Anything. Hi, my name is Angel, and I'm a congenital amputee. My proof. Have you ever given anyone a bionic bitch slap? Yes, many people. Ever give a guy a bionic hand job? I knew this was coming eventually. I have not ever. And honestly, I don't really feel all that great. It honestly makes me picture a future WTF post titled something like Bionic Arm Removes Venus During Foreplay. I feel like that headline is entirely probable if someone tried it out. Guarantee you could find someone on here with that fetish who would love it. Oh my god, they are everywhere. They are called devotees. I get 10+ ads on Facebook daily from them. OP from the photo thread said you used to chase the schoolboys that made fun of you and try to beat them up with your fake arm. Is that true? If so, hilarious. Haha, very true. They deserved it. I also used to hit my brother when he made me mad, but eventually I stopped because he learned to catch it mid-swing and hit me back. No one wants to be hit with their own arm. When the inevitable war between man and machine happens, which side will you choose? I'm not deciding my allegiances too early. What level of articulation and control do you have over your left hand with your current prosthetic, and what future developments in prosthetics are you looking forward to? The two arms I currently use are the IAmA and a cosmetic prosthesis. I do not own the Dika arm, I'm just testing it. The IAmA has several grips or hand positions I can cycle through. It is much more useful than my cosmetic, but it's big, bulky and heavy. Although, the Dika arm is very large, and I'd wear it every day if I could, because of how many more things it is capable of. My favorite being the flexion and extension of the wrist, which no other prosthetic has. I want a Mega Man arm, and one that looks like ones from Terminator or iRobot. I'm really looking forward to the current studies on nerve-controlled prosthetics. Is the power supply in the prosthetic, or is there like an external battery pack? The Dika arm has an external battery pack currently, but they are hoping to remedy that before it is put on the market. How much do advanced prosthetics such as the Dika one cost? The Dika is the most expensive I've heard of, being $400,000, but the high-end ones on the market currently are around $75,000 to $100,000. The lower end ones are around $25,000. About the nerve-controlled prosthetics, would you do it if there were a chance for temporary/permanent damage? For example, if the nerve endings rejected the artificial connection and you had to lose more of your real limb. I don't know much about neuroprosthetics. I just imagine that as a new science it is more risky than established ones. Yeah, the nerve control stuff is scary and your thoughts are correct. I wouldn't be willing to test that kind of stuff for those exact reasons. But, I'm excited all the same. Does it bother you if people stare or ask questions? That is when you're out in public? Usually no. I'm 24 years old. I've dealt with it my whole life. But occasionally I'll be having a bad day and a stupid comment someone makes will annoy me for a second. The most upsetting thing for me is kids can be scared of me. The thing I hate is when kid asks what's wrong with my arm and the parent freaks out on them telling them to be quiet and all this stuff. But what they just did was make my arm a weird or bad thing for their kid. If the parent just reacted calmly and said some people are different and that's okay, I feel like we'd have a lot less assholes in this world. Do you ever wear the baby arm around to mess with people now that you're an adult? Hadder, I might if I could. The socket is way too small for me to fit my arm in now. Well, you don't seem like the type of person who would let something like that hold you back. I have some modeling clay you can borrow. You're right. I might just go for good old-fashioned duct tape. How does the bionic arm work? That is how. Do you control it? The arm I'm wearing in the photo with the bow has 2 electrodes, sensors, that are placed inside the socket of the prosthesis. They sit against my skin, and when I flex different muscles, the arm opens and closes. The Dika arm currently also has FITIMUs, inertial measurement units, which can tell when I hold my feet in different positions, toe up or toe down. This controls the different grips I can put the hand in, left foot IMU, as well as the movement of the wrist, right foot IMU. So you have to wear something on your foot too? What does that look/feel like? They are tiny and square shaped, probably like 2 inches by 2 inches. They aren't very noticeable and clip onto my shoes. They aren't heavy anything. The foot sensors, IAMAs, control my wrist bending and my grip change, and when you walk there is something the arm does called walk detect, so the sensors stop working momentarily so the arm doesn't start bending. But occasionally if I step too slow the wrist bends and then the arm goes into walk detect and I'm stuck that way, which can be annoying. Are the toe sensors wireless? So someone could hack the signal and remotely control your arm without you knowing? Oh god. I'll let the government know. Do you ever scratch one foot with the toe of the other foot then crush the drink can you're holding? I bent down to pick something up and my wrist just started spinning. Sigh. Do you ever incorporate any of your hands into fancy dress costumes? I love dressing up. Halloween is the best. But I also like to act, so I've done extra work in several movies where I've played a zombie, wounded veteran, or a dead body. I also am in a haunted house every year. When did you lose your arm? And how? I was actually born without my arm. I am, as far as I've heard, the youngest in the world to be fit with a myoelectric prosthesis. I was 6 weeks for my first passive arm and 4 months 10 days for my first myoelectric. How does it feel, being armed and dangerous? I'm going to say I'm a big fan. Has your arm ever malfunctioned? Yes. When the pinch pressure increased, and they added another electrode/sensor, when I was in 7th grade, I was testing out the pinch on my leg. I used to do this, so I'd know how hard I was pinching something. Well, I messed up, and my arm went full pinch, 15 pounds, on my inner calf. I screamed in the middle of class. It's still several of my friends' favorite me story. Ouch. Something wrong, Angel. My arm bit me. My arm ate my homework. I'm interested in the philosophy of cybernetics, and I was wondering, do you identify yourself with the idea of a cyborg? Does that word create a positive or a negative image in your mind, and why? I'm in graduate school for psychology and I really like your thinking. I've been looking at stigma, pose/neg, with words like nub/stub/stump, but cyborg isn't one I've thought of. I think cyborg is positive to me. It draws thoughts of advancement and innovative design. If you could have an arm made up with an additional unexpected function, built-in flashlight, built-in cell phone, secret storage compartment etc., what would you ask for? Definitely some type of internet access. Can it shoot lasers? Will you make it for me? Do you have superhuman grip strength? The grip is pretty intense. The standard is 15 pounds of pinch pressure, and this arm exceeds that. I can't remember the number exactly, but it was strong enough for me to carry a 40-pound bag across the room with it. Of course my shoulder was really sore after that. How does it stay on your arm when lifting heavy objects straight up? The socket fits relatively tightly but mostly I use suction. I've done it since I was very young, so I don't know entirely how to explain it, but I do know that in the 4th grade this boy swung me around by arm trying to get it off and it almost dislocated my shoulder. Eventually I had to release suction. He's the only person to ever pull my arm off, but technically I don't think that counts. How is it going through airport security? It's not terrible when I'm wearing my cosmetic arm, but the Dika arm is not allowed to go through security or on planes because it is a prototype. They have to ship it. Do you believe that bionic arms will ever be more functional than human arms? If so, would it be ethical for people to elect to have bionic arms? More functional? I think it's possible, but I don't know why they'd invest the money into a program to do that. They are getting closer to just meeting the standards of a human hand, but still way off, so if it is possible, it's a long way off. Which one is your favorite? That's hard because I love the Dika arm, which isn't pictured, but it weighs 6 pounds and is close to 3 times the size of my real arm, but it helps me so much. My cosmetic arm, which looks real and is lighter, is the easiest to wear. Do you find that being an amputee impacts your dating life at all, say in comparison to your friends? I think it does/did. Guys, and people in general, can be uncomfortable around amputees because they haven't had much contact with them, so guys don't just come up and hit on me a lot because, well, I guess they think me having one arm is weird, so usually I get hit on by people who've had a chance to get to know me. But I'm in a long-term relationship and guys can be rude to him when he tells them I have one arm. Like, that's really nice of you to date her, like he's doing me a favor. It's funny to me most of the time. I think people are just afraid of what they aren't familiar with. Oh. And does being an amputee affect your handedness? Or can you learn to use either hand dominantly? I'm actually *SUPPOSED to be left-handed, and I'm missing my left. My dad and half my family is left-handed. I got my first bionic arm at 4 months 10 days old. It could only open and close, but that's enough for a baby. So I used my left arm for as long as I could before needed to switch to my right for more fine motor skills. Do you get a lot of awkward stares from people? How do you deal with it? Yep, people stare a lot. Always have. When I was little I used to run up to them when I noticed and be like, I was born without my arm. I can take it off. Want to see? But I'm pretty much used to it by now. Even rude comments usually roll right off me.